once you've done something a certain way and that audience has given you the feedback, you become addicted to it. You know, you're like, well, I can't give that up.
If I give that up, it's just not going to be any fun.
Once I've done that bit, it's obviously working, and you're telling yourself, well, it's working and it's good. But really, what it is you like that you can feel it. And but the truth is, what's more interesting is to not, you know, hang on. And try to control it, because I think when you're trying to control it and replicate the same thing, then it actually becomes quite boring.
It becomes dead very quickly. I mean, I did a Katie Mitchell production. She's the most extraordinary director when it comes to process, and it was extraordinary. The first preview we did, the first scene, Hattie Morahan and myself, and we were sort of utterly perplexed by the fact that this fourth wall didn't exist, that there were people looking at what we were doing and our work and finding it funny. We thought we got something terribly wrong. And we came off and we were sort of talking to Kate, what was it? I mean, I really thought my flies were, what was it? Were they just nervous? And she went, no, I don't want you to think about why they thought it was funny. I said, oh, is it funny? I don't want you to think about why they thought it was funny, you know, so, because that's such a thing, you know, chase a laugh or a moment of, you know, sort of a dramatic high or whatever the shape of that thing that worked is. And you're in a dead space very, very quickly. And it was great going in from rehearsals, but it's so hard to maintain that attitude. That's, I think, the strongest. People say, how do you learn lines? How do you deal with nerves? How do you deal with being in front of an audience? Forget all of that. The hardest thing is to, I think, pretend that it is the first time and hear it and feel it for something that it hasn't been the night before. You know?
I once, on that play, I was chasing a laugh. I had a laugh from a little bit, and it had grown every night, and I kept increasing, you know, I kept leaning into the bit harder, and just almost to see, like, how big can this, you know, laugh get? And I can't think of a time I've forgotten a line on stage in my life. Like, it just doesn't happen to me, really. And we were in previews on this thing, and I leaned into this bit too much, and I got this huge laugh.
And it threw you.
And I kind of stood up, and it's kind of these Coke-fueled like monologues, and I let the laugh and the satisfaction just threw me off that much, and I started in, and Catherine Keener was gave me this look like, what? And I realized I had jumped about 15 minutes forward. I had jumped about 15 minutes of the play. And as I began to realize that I had done that, but you're still steaming forward, I'm seeing the other actor off stage whose entrance I have now jumped, looking at me like, what? And finally he had the presence to just enter, which broke it, sent it back to at least his entrance. Then we get through a lot of what we've missed, but now here we are coming back to what I've already done.
Oh my God.
And but the sensations were so, later.
Shame.
No, but really, later I felt like it was one of the most interesting things that ever happened to me on a stage, because you know, like you can feel like that cell in your finger, you know, like it's like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. You can hear voices, but your head is spinning.
But your blood feels a little bit like lead in those moments. That's the,
I thought it was great. I thought it was like, I mean, I did it to myself, but it produced a very interesting experience.